city of San Diego sells a mobile home park in San Isidro, what it means for the people who live here.
What are these pink blobs everyone's seeing around Lake Murray? We'll explain what they are and should they even be here.
Some of you want to know if the extreme heat can really melt asphalt like roads and airport tarmacs. We verify.
And meet the cruise ship journalist who came home with the set of the Love Boat.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
The city of San Diego just sold a mobile home park to a private company. Now the people living there are wondering what's going to happen to them. Good evening, I'm Jesse Pagan.
And I'm Steve Price. Carlo and Marcella have the night off. The city council unanimously approved that sale just 1 hour ago. The Rancho Del Rio mobile home park is a 23-acre site located in San Isidro with 130 homes.
CBS 8's Shannon Handy dug into the sale and talked with the city and the new owners about the future of the park.
We've seen this before in San Diego. A mobile home park is sold and the people who live there either are forced out or have to deal with increased rents. Well, in this case, both the city and the new owners tell us that's not the case here. In fact, they say this is a good thing for residents.
24 years.
In the 2 decades Luis Flores has lived at the Rancho Del Rio mobile home park in San Isidro, not much has changed, and he's hopeful it stays that way.
I believe it's going to be beneficiary for us.
Last week, Flores and his neighbors got this letter letting them know the company that currently leases and manages the 23-acre property, JSP Rancho Del Rio, is buying it from the city of San Diego. The price, just over $8 million. The city's public utilities department has owned the land since the 1960s. In the letter, JSP Rancho Del Rio says in part, the city has determined that the land is no longer needed, and under the terms of the lease, we have decided to move forward on the acquisition of the property. We do this in part to help protect against significant and ongoing rent increases that will result from continued city ownership. What does this mean to you? It means you will see no changes to how we currently operate or how you live. The letter goes on to explain the property is not being redeveloped, so no one has to move. The affordable rental units will have their rent protections extended for a full 55 years, and rent for the market rate homeowner units is capped at no more than 5% in any 12-month period.
It's a relief because right now the economy is kind of hard for us, and hopefully it stays like that.
It's also a relief given what's happened to other city-owned mobile home parks in the past. People who used to live at De Anza Cove along Mission Bay were forced out years ago after the master lease expired. As for this property, District 8 Council member Vivian Moreno tells CBS 8 the only way to avoid a massive increase is through this purchase and sale agreement, which ensures that all residents can continue to afford to live there for decades to come. Meanwhile, Jackson Square Properties, which owns JSP Rancho Del Rio, said the acquisition means that there will be no change for the tenants, which we believe will be a welcome relief. In short, we believe this is a win-win for the city and the tenants. Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Meanwhile, more than 70 people living in a downtown hotel are being forced to vacate due to the property's dangerous and deplorable living conditions there. City inspectors say the C Street Inn had a number of violations, including mold, rodent infestations, and fire hazards. The city is offering the tenants up to $4,700 each to help them relocate. A hearing going to be held to force the owner of the hotel to pay the city back for those relocation expenses.
A fast-moving wildfire near Yosemite National Park has exploded in size, forcing thousands of people to evacuate. So far, the fire covers about 26 square miles and is only 10% contained. Jonathan Vigliotti has the latest on the Oak Fire from Los Angeles.
The fire is into the trees all around the property.
This radio dispatch is just one example of what crews are up against as they continue to battle California's largest wildfire.
Just want to let you know there's going to be fire on the ground.
More than 2,500 firefighters are now on the lines, working around the clock in intense heat and on steep terrain to put down the so-called Oak Fire from both the ground and air.
The fact that this is the biggest fire in the state, we were able to access personnel from all over the state and help us mitigate this fire.
The vegetation is bone dry. It doesn't take much to turn it into a fire like this. There has been a stroke of some luck. The wind has remained calm. It only takes a gust, though, to turn fire like this into a wall of flames. The fire has already incinerated more than 16,000 acres, destroyed 7 structures, including homes. But that number is expected to rise.
It's just tough, but it's still amazing to see what survives.
More than 6,000 people are under evacuation orders, like Steve and Andrea Ward, newlyweds who watched their home burst into flames on TV.
I see a home, and it's an inferno, and then an explosion goes off.
Years of drought across the western U.S. and high temperatures over recent days have fueled flames reaching 50 feet into the sky.
This is not normal. Now we have multiple big fires every year. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Wind conditions so far have been favorable, but gusts are expected for later tonight, along with the possibility of dry lightning. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Mariposa County, California.
So far this year, crews have handled more than 4,400 wildfires in California.
Back here at home, just a little more than an hour ago, San Diego took a step forward to becoming the first city in the entire country with a daycare center that's just for the children of law enforcement officers. Today, city council members voted to establish a property in Mission Valley as the new center. The planned facility would cut the cost of childcare for police officers in half. Emergency childcare services would also be available if an officer is called into work during overnight hours.
It takes the stress off of you, it takes the stress off the family, and it makes it more affordable and more dependable in allowing you to do this, especially working shift work or working on call time.
Council members believe this center could also be a powerful recruitment tool to bring in new officers. The city of San Diego is also one step closer to a ban on styrofoam and single-use plastics. If passed, this ordinance will prohibit the use of styrofoam food packaging and other common styrofoam items. Styrofoam is a main source of litter. It's also not biodegradable. The ordinance will also require that people request single-use straws and plastic utensils instead of just receiving them automatically with your order. The ordinance will go to City Council this fall for approval.
Well, it looks like a pink mass of tiny fish eggs are sprinkled all around Lake Murray, sticking to reeds and trees near the water. Some people in La Mesa want to know what they really are. So we sent CBS 8's Anna Laurel to Lake Murray to find out.
You can see these pink blobs attached to things all around the water's edge out here. So I called the city of San Diego because they manage Lake Murray and California Department of Fish and Wildlife to get you some scientific answers. But when we talk to the people out here at the lake, what they think these pink blobs are is actually pretty entertaining and relatable.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
What? They don't do nothing.
No, don't touch it.
That's Luis and Maria Lopez seeing all the small pink globs on the reeds beside Lake Murray.
You know what? I thought it was part of the plant.
It looks like a flower.
Yeah, it looks like the flower.
What would your guess be?
I don't know, some kind of fungus, he said.
But the California Department of Fish and Wildlife says channeled apple snails lay these goopy clumps. Each cluster has 200 to 600 bright pink eggs. Fishermen here say they see them every year.
That looks like bubble gum all stuck to it.
Oh, gosh. But the snails are an invasive species from South America with the potential to become a serious agricultural pest. They're also in Lake Miramar and the Miramar Reservoir. All right, so here's the culprit. California Fish and Wildlife say this type of species is an aquatic animal, and so they think someone probably took what was left of a home aquarium and dumped it into Lake Murray. I washed my hands at least a dozen times after I touched those snails because they can potentially transmit rat lungworm, a disease that can cause a deadly form of meningitis. So what is the city of San Diego doing about this potentially dangerous snail that's reproducing by the thousands? Nothing. The city sent me this statement this afternoon. The channeled apple snails have been at Lake Murray for several years. The city's team of biologists has observed these snails over time and concluded that the snails have no impact on drinking water quality. The ducks seem to like them, so that could help. Now that you know what it is, would you touch it?
No, I still wouldn't touch it. No.
At Lake Murray, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.